Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're really digging into Christian eschatology, specifically focusing on our sources analysis of Revelation chapter 4.
Yeah, the goal isn't just listing views, but really getting to the heart of the texts and how different end times perspectives have, shaped things over time.
So maybe start with the big picture. The sources talk about three main ways of looking at the millennium, right?
That's right. It all kind of boils down to Christ's 1,000-year reign. You've got premillennialism, the reign is literal, still future. Then amillennialism, it's more symbolic, happening now through the church.
Okay, and the third?
Postmillennialism. That one sees the reign being achieved gradually, like through Christian influence on society before Christ returns. But the key always is sorting this out through the Bible itself.
Absolutely. And the history here is fascinating. The sources point out that historic premillennialism was actually the early consensus.
It was for about 300 years. Then Augustine, in the 4th century, introduced a more allegorical reading. That really shifted things towards amillennialism.
And that interpretation just took hold, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It dominated through the Catholic Church in the Middle Ages and, interestingly, carried over to reformers like Luther and Calvin.
But premillennialism didn't just disappear. It evolved.
Right, exactly. In the early 1900s, it kind of branched out. You still had historic premillennialism, but then dispensational premillennialism emerged. That's a really significant development.
And we see the impact of that specifically in places like Korea based on our sources.
Yeah, it's a unique story. Early American missionaries brought dispensational views, influenced by Darby and Schofield. But the early Korean Presbyterian Church actually leaned towards the historic view initially.
So what changed?
Well, after the 1960s, particularly with the rise of the Pentecostal movement and figures like Cho Young-gi, dispensationalism, including ideas like the pre-tribulation rapture, became much more widespread.
Which our sources suggest might not have the strongest biblical foundation.
They definitely urge caution. The point is always to ground our eschatology firmly in the Bible, trying not to read our own systems into it,
Okay, so let's pivot to the text itself.
Yeah.
Revelation chapter 4. The sources seem quite focused here.
Yeah, they are, especially on verse 1, where John hears the voice say, "Come up here."
Right. And dispensationalists often see that as the moment of the rapture.
That's a common interpretation, yeah. But the text itself, well, it uses singular pronouns, I will show you. It's God calling John the individual.
Not the entire church.
Exactly. It seems to be John being personally invited up to receive the vision of what must take place after this. It's not explicitly a collective event in that verse.
Okay. So John goes up, and the description is incredible. God on the throne, like jasper and carnelian, this emerald rainbow.
Stunning imagery. And around the throne, those 24 elders, white robes, gold crowns.
Now, the common interpretation is often the 12 tribes plus the 12 apostles, right? But the sources push back on that.
They do. The simple reason is John, who is one of the apostles, is the one seeing this. He's not one of the elders seated there.
Ah, okay. So if not them, then who?
The sources suggest they're likely established celestial beings, part of the heavenly court. Same goes for the 4 living creatures.
People have had some creative interpretations of those creatures too, haven't they? Augustine again.
Right. Augustine tried linking them allegorically to the gospel writers' lion for Matthew, ox for Mark, and so on. But our sources say that's, well, missing the mark.
So where should we look?
Back to the Old Testament, really. Ezekiel chapters 1 and 10 describe these exact beings, the cherubim.
Ah, the cherubim. The guardians.
Precisely. They attend God's throne, act as agents of judgment, but also redemption. Remember, they guarded Eden. Seeing them in their biblical context avoids forcing later symbolism onto them.
So, stepping back, what was the point of this vision in chapter 4 for the original readers, those believers facing Roman persecution?
It was fundamentally about comfort and assurance. Before showing all the judgments to come, John sees this scene. The throne, the worship, the undeniable reality of God's eternal kingdom. It's a powerful reminder that Jesus is king no matter what's happening on earth.
That has huge implications for us today, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It forces you to ask, where is your hope really fixed? Is it on the eternal reality of God's glory, this scene John describes, or more on, worldly success, temporary comforts?
It's easy to become sort of secularized, isn't it? To focus on what seems to work here and now and forget God's ultimate sovereignty.
It is. What fills your heart is what you ultimately see and hear. So the challenge is to keep filling our hearts with God's word, with this vision of the eternal kingdom, so we can discern the world rightly and live with that hope, boldly moving towards what lasts.
A powerful thought to end on. Are you living focused on the certainty of that eternal kingdom, or letting the temporary world dictate your perspective? Something to reflect on.